So the first thing that we're gonna do, we're gonna write this is gonna be a section, or here section, right? And it's gonna have an ID, and obviously the ID is gonna be forms, right? So I'm just gonna write form over here like this, and we're gonna close it out. And over here, we're gonna start adding our form. But first, we're gonna create a class, and this is gonna be a container over here like this. And obviously, within that container, we're gonna create a div with a row. This is gonna have a class, and this is gonna have a row value. And over here, what we're gonna do is we're right away gonna create a div that's gonna be spanning 4 columns. Over here, class, and this is gonna have a column, small 6, right? So on a small screen, it's gonna be half the screen, and starting from the small screen, it's gonna be small screen. And then we're gonna add another one, just a generic class of form, because we're gonna use it for styling. And after that, we're actually ready to start actually putting our form groups, right? So here, what we do, we create a div, right? And we would need to create a heading, right? So here we create a heading 3, and we're going to say that this is going to be a emailing list, right? Because now we're styling actual form, right? Now we're making the actual form. So now you can see that this is going to be our emailing list. I mean, it's hard to tell right now because of the font color and everything, but we are actually adding it, right? And here we're going to add a paragraph, and we're going to say that this is going to say stay in, let's say, touch and learn what's going on, right? What's going on at your, let's say, neighborhood sushi bar, right? So it's going to be neighborhood, right? Neighborhood sushi bar, right? We're going to put some exclamation marks. Then we're going to write that this is going to have a events, specials, right? And I don't know, menus and more, right? So it's going to be menus and more, right? So now we added that text, and now we actually need to create a forms. However, everything still needs to be over here in this half, right? So we're going to write a form, and within that form, we're going to start actually creating div. So we're going to say div, and this is going to have a class, and this is going to be form group, right? And then within that form group, we're going to create a input, and we're going to say input type is going to be text, or here like this, right? We just need to put a quotation mark, so it's going to be text. And then we're going to say that this is going to have a class, and the class needs to be form control, right, for them to work good. And over here, what I'm going to add is input, and I'm going to say that this is going to be large, because I like when my forms are large. And over here, it's going to be name, and I'm going to say that the name is going to be name, and also ID is going to be name, right? So I'm just going to say name, and here we're going to say the placeholder is going to be first name, right? So now let's close it out, and let's check it out what we have. Right, so now I can see now I have my first form, and over here we have this text, right? So as I highlighted, you can see it. However, we're gonna have to change the color in order for it to see it better, right? So now we have our first div, and we're actually gonna create 2 more divs like this. We're gonna change just some couple of values here. So we're gonna copy once, copy twice, and over here we have form group. We just need to change these values, right? So over here, this is still going to be a type text. This is just going to be a last name, right? So we need to find whatever we have first, and we just need to ask a last name, right? So let's maybe delete this, and we're going to say the placeholder is going to be last name. Here it's still going to be text, but these ones, both of them needs to have a last name, right? So we're just going to delete this last name, right? And now we have our last name. Now here we're going to add a email. So we're going to say email, and type is also going to be email. And here we're going to have an email, right? So this is email, and this is going to be email, right? So this is email, but not email name. We're going to say that just email. This is going to be what we want. And now we can actually close this div over here that we have. And over here, we're just going to say that this is going to be heading 3. And we're going to add some checkboxes. So I'm going to say locations. And what we're going to do over here, we're going to say that this is going to be div class. And this is going to be checkbox class, right? Checkbox class. So within that checkbox class, we're going to add a label. And we're going to say that this is going to be a input. And here we're going to say that this is going to have a type, right? And the type is going to be checkbox, and we can actually close it out. And here within the paragraph, we're just going to say that this is downtown, right? Something like this. And again, it's hard to tell right now, but we're going to style it so we can see it much better. And over here, what I want to do is, again, I want to actually copy these ones, right? So 1, 2, right? So now we have, again, 3 checkboxes, which we're going to be able to work with, right? And here, the only thing is what we're going to change is we're going to say that this is going to be suburbs, right? Suburbs. And here it's going to be a, I don't know, local, right? Just some 3 imaginary locations, right? And now that we have that, we can see that we actually I made a mistake, because either there's a div missing or something, because you can see that it's saying that something is not the way it likes, right? So we just need to go and check it out what I have made it wrong. So over here, I'm just gonna add a div, right? And that's still not good enough. So over here, I have a div, right? And it looks to me that I actually I need one more div, right? So here I just need to close it out. You can see right now I have 3 checkboxes. Now everything is fine. And the last thing that I want to add in the form is button. So I'm going to say button, and this is going to have type, and this is going to have type submit, and I'm going to say that this is going to have class. Class is going to be button, and I want it button block over here. And I'm going to say that this is going to have a subscribe, right? So I'm going to say subscribe over here. And after that, let's actually place our iframe, the map, right? So now we're pretty much done with a form. And you can see that this is going to be our div, right? But over here, if we click over here within this row, right, we need to create another one. So over here, we're going to create a div, right? That's going to have a class, and the class needs to be the same, right? Column small 6, right? Column small 6. That means that this is going to be spanning on a small screen, half the screen, right? And over here, what we're going to say that it's going to have a the class, the regular Bootstrap class text center over here like this. Then we're going to add a generic iframe over here like this. And after that, we're pretty much ready to set some headings, right? So first, I'm going to say that this is going to be heading of, let's say, we are here, right? This is going to be our heading. Then after that, we're going to add a heading 1. We're going to say that don't drink and drive. And in between them, we were going to add our iframe, right? And if we remember how to add an iframe, we just again go back to our good old friend Google. And over here, I'm going to say Google Maps, right? So we have Google Maps. We just click over here. And let's say I'm just going to write sushi, right? So you can see that I already wrote over here sushi, right? And it's just, let's say this one, right? So we just click on this one, right? And now we have a option of sharing, right? So we just click over here, and you can see that either share link or embed map, right? And what we can do is we can just right away copy this link, right? And we can close everything out, right? We don't need it anymore. And we just go back over here, and somewhere over here, we just paste it, right? Now, the problem is again, we're going to need to do a little bit of styling so it looks better. But as far as our HTML is concerned, we're actually done. So we are actually ready to save this, right? Save it over here. Go to our main CSS. Again, leave the comment that this is going to be a form. So I'm going to say form. And again, we're going to create a bunch of space so we can work a little bit better. And the first thing that we want is obviously add some type of padding. So I'm going to say form. This is going to be a padding. And I'm going to say padding 3 a.m. and 2 a.m. Right, so you can see horizontally I added 2 EMs and vertically I added 3. Then after that we're going to add some type of color for our text. So I'm going to write form, and I'm going to say that for heading 1's in form, and I would want a color red, right? So now I can see all the text that actually was missing wasn't shown, right? Right now the headings are coming along. Now after that I would want a different background, so I'm going to say form, and I would want a background, right? And I'm going to background black, background color. We're going to say black, or here like this. And then after that we're going to say that opacity is going to be like 0.6, something like this. Then after that we're going to have a padding within the form. But the problem is actually, sorry, I actually did it a little bit wrong. I should have the class, not the ID. That's why I was wondering why I keep doing this. But over here you can see I just want this form to have that value, right? Not the iframe, right? So over here I go to a padding, and I'm going to say that padding is going to be, let's say, 2 EM, right? So now I'm just styling the form, not the iframe, right? So the first one, right? So here we have a padding over here like this, the vertical one, right? And then we have a padding of horizontal, right? And then we're going to say that we want a height, some type of height, and we would want a height of, let's say, something like 68 EMs, right? Something like this. So let's check it out what we have. Well, it's pretty big. It's big enough, right? And after that, what we want to do is style a little bit our heading 3, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to go over here. Again, we're going to create a bunch of space. And what we're going to say is that we would want a form heading 3, and we're going to say that heading 3 should have a color red over here like this. And then we're going to style a paragraph over here like this. We're going to say that all the form, and it's going to be a paragraph, and we would want a color white over here like this. And then after that we're going to say that font size is going to be something like, I don't know, font size 2 EM, font size 2 EM over here like this. So it's already starting to look a little bit better, right? And after that, what we need to do is actually work with a iframe values, right? Because so far we're done with the forms. We might add a little bit of properties a little bit later, but let's just work right now with our iframe, right? But the first thing that I want to do actually with an iframe, I want to change over here a couple of values that it actually has once it's actually downloaded. So over here you have this width and height, right? What I want to do is with the width, I want to set it to 100%. And over here, the height, I'm going to set it to, again, 450 pixels. So we're going to leave this one, right? But we're going to add this width to be 100%, right? Because that's how we want it to be actually to appear, right? And after that, let's check it out what we can do regarding CSS, right? With the iframe. So we're just going to save this, and we'll just jump back to main CSS. And again, we're going to create a bunch of room, and we're going to say that we would want a iframe, right? So we're going to select a class iframe that we created, and I'm going to say that I would want a padding 2 EM and 1 EM over here like this. So now we're creating over here these paddings, right? This is what we're trying to do. Then after that, we're going to say that we want the same height as the previous one. So we're going to say 68 EMs over here like this. And then after that, what we're going to do is we're going to add a background white. background color, and it's going to be white. See over here that I actually missed over here this iframe, right? So as we add iframe, now all my values are actually there, right? So you can see that over here I actually missed it out, right? So that was my mistake. But we have fixed over here this iframe that I missed, this iframe, the first letter I. Let's actually do a couple of more things over here with this form. Let's say make it a little bit smaller. We're gonna make it like 50 over here. The same gonna go over here for this one. Over here, this is gonna be 50, and we can check it out. Do we need any more padding? I don't think we do. I think we're okay with the padding. And what we want to do is actually a form button over here like this. We want to say form, and this is going to have a button, and we're going to say that form button should have a background color red, background color red over here like this, and then we're going to say that it's going to have a font size of 3 EM, font size over here like this, font size 3 EM. So now you can see that it's actually a bigger. And now we can go actually and make maybe this iframe a little bit smaller, because you can see that right now it doesn't actually fit because we created this class to be 50 EMs, right? So what we need to do is we go over here, we say iframe, and then we say iframe, right? So now we're selecting iframe, and then we need to select the height, right? So I'm going to start like 30 EMs, right? So you can see again I missed letter, right? So now it's 30, and let's check it out how it looks like. So if we make this bigger, we probably need to work a little bit on this, right? And maybe you can see that it doesn't really, everything doesn't line up. So we maybe need to change a couple of more values, right? So we need to make this box bigger, and also probably this one simultaneously, right? So we're going to start with this one, and we're going to say that this one should be, I don't know, something like, let's say 60. Hopefully it's not going to be too big. 60 is fine. So we go back to this one, right? We go also make it 60, but maybe this one we make like 40, right? And we'll see how does it match. It's pretty good, right? So if I make this bigger again, what do we have? Yeah, well, now we have two boxes that actually line up really well, and the size of it and the height of it is really good. And now we're ready to actually go and make our footer.